Lawrence Kadish for creating this museum, and the Nassau County elected officials who recognize the importance of the mission and who continue to support its roles inside Old Bethpage Village. Thank you very much, guys.
Again, I'd like to thank HBO. And several years ago, the legislature approved the permit for the use of the facility, the field next door, which was just an empty field at the time. And it is wonderful for all of us to see what has been accomplished there and what you're still going to be accomplishing over the next few years.
Thank you, Officer Negalella. And thank you. This is, it's very nice to be here and continue the journey that started with you all. And it's nice to be able to share, as we did with the tour today, to see where I came with Gary. We asked about adjacent to the
Deputy Presiding Officer Howard Copel.
Here.
Alternate Deputy Presiding Officer Denise Ford.
Here.
Legislator Sheila Bino.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator Carrier Solage.
Here.
Legislator Deborah Muley.
Here.
Legislator C. William Gaylor III.
Present.
Legislator John Giuffre.
Here.
Legislator Mazi Philippe.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator Delia DeRidge-Witten.
Here.
Legislator James Kennedy.
Here.
Legislator Thomas McKevitt.
Here.
Legislator Laura Schaefer.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator John Ferretti.
Here.
Thank you, John. Legislator Arnold Drucker.
Here.
Legislator Rose Marie Walker.
Here.
Legislator Joshua Lafazan.
Here.
Legislator Stephen Rhodes.
Present.
Minority Leader Kavan Abrahams.
Here.
Presiding Officer Richard Nicolello.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So we will be getting to the public comment portion of our meeting in a few moments. Anyone who wants to speak in the public comment portion or during the two hearings that we're having, please submit a slip to the clerk's office, which is table all the way to my right. I have 2 slips so far. But as is our custom, before going to the public comment portion of our meeting, we have our celebration and recognition of our top cops. And to lead things off, I'd like to invite up the president of the PBA, Tommy Shevlin.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with you. As always, thank you for honoring us. I want to share an amazing story with everybody tonight. On March 9th, 2022, 4th Precinct officers were dispatched a call in Oceanside for a 14-year-old boy not breathing and in cardiac arrest. Police officers Apat, Montavani were first on the scene and observed the aided on his bed. He did not have a pulse and was not breathing. They placed him on the floor and started CPR. Officers Apath, Montavani, and Dreschel also attached the AED while continuing CPR. Police medics Sutton and Santiago arrived on the scene and attached their equipment to the child. After a shock, they got a pulse back. The child did then start to breathe. The breathing was shallow. The child was intubated, and medics gave him medicine and fluid. The officers then transported him to South Nassau Hospital for further treatment. The child was transferred to L.I.J. Cohen's Children's Hospital. He was intubated for several days and eventually was discharged. He amazingly made a full recovery. The child was diagnosed with a heart defect and had a defibrillator implanted. If not for their quick response and calm under pressure, the situation could have been a very different outcome. It is my honor to announce police officers Apath, Montavani, Dreschel, and police medics Sutton and Santiago as legislative top cops for May 2022. And I am also honored and so proud that we are here joined by Jonathan, the 14-year-old boy.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Rodriguez, and I just wanted to give big thanks to the cops and the first responders and the aides that really helped me throughout this whole situation. And I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and the only people I could really thank is God and my family for always being there for me every day in the hospital. And luckily now I'm alive, and it's really a big outcome from all this. I'm very happy and glad. I'm blessed.
Hi everybody here. I'm really surprised tonight. I'm racing in New York all my life. And I can't believe it. I'm really surprised that the paramedic, ambulance. I remember 3:25 a.m. in the morning. My daughter, they called so quick. Not even 1 minute, 2 minutes. Almost 20 police over there in my block. The ambulance. I can't believe it. They saved my son's life. And I'm really happy. All the service and Nassau County Police is the best paramedic and police service. And I'm really surprised the police. You know, they do all in the Nassau County. I'm really so happy. The service they do amazing. Surprise, saving my son's life. Thank you so much.
As always, we sit here and we say thank you for what the tools and the training that you give all of us, all of our members. You see what it comes to and what it does. HBO should, this is what a movie is made of. This is what they should film, real heroes doing real things. And I'm really jealous of this kid's hair. And we can take a look, but we're very happy and thankful for everything that you've given us. Thank you.
All right, I'll keep this very brief. I just want to first thank Nassau County Legislature, Commissioner Ryder, PBA Top Cop Committee, PBA President Shevlin, and executive board members. And on behalf of myself, Officer Montavani, Officer Apath, Police Medic Sutton, and Police Medic Santiago, we thank you for this honor. Good to see you again.
Legislator Ford, then Deputy Presiding Officer Coppell. I'd like to say a few words.
Good evening. I'm let you see this. Once again, we are here to recognize our police officers and medics who demonstrated their professionalism and keen ability to respond to an emergency. Their efforts and teamwork helped with a young man's life. Our officers never know what they will face when they go out on a call. Their ability to determine what is needed to be done in a split second underscores how well trained they are. Whether as a police officer or a medic, you are the best of the best, and I thank you very much. And I'm sure that I could hear from the Father how important, that all of this, how it transpired and what it really means to you. So, and for you, I guess you're in high school now, right? Are you in Oceanside High? Yeah. Okay, what grade? 9. Well, okay. So here you go, looking forward to summer vacation, right? Okay, all right. But all of you, once again, thank you very much, and let us just all remember how important our first responders to us, and let us always celebrate the work that they do and the people who they are. Thank you.
The fourth precinct and my district largely coincide, and as someone who lives in the 4th precinct and is protected by the fine officers of the 4th precinct, I'm very gratified to see how diligent you are, and it's not a surprise to me because I see it every day. I see it all the time. We live in a low crime area. You guys just provide exemplary protection and service, and I'm just very grateful for everything that you do. And Jonathan, second chance, right? Second chance at life, you're destined for great things. That's right. Right? I want to see great things from you.
I just wanted to add, month after month we see, when we do these recognitions, the incredible work that our law enforcement does. But this time, you also see it from the perspective of the family. I think we can all put ourselves in your shoes, Mr. Rodriguez, and to have that situation in your house and to have that many officers show up and their skill and their techniques. Thank God for what they do.
I would just like to add, too, as you were speaking, as our officers were speaking and portraying that night, Jonathan, to see your dad behind you and the tears flowing down because he relives that moment every day, every minute. And if it wasn't for the men and women who are behind you, our officers, our medics, you truly, all of you, truly are angels on earth. And you've kept this young angel here with us because of all the work you do. So God bless you all, and Jonathan, to see you here tonight just touches my heart. So God bless and good luck.
We'll have to do this a little bit differently. So if you want to just stand up in front, we'll all gather behind you and take that photograph for the presentation. Yeah. Let's do it now. Yeah. It's going to be difficult for the whole group.
We might be a little taller than you, and we're on a platform.
One, two, three have to go to the end and let the gentlemen step in that are a little taller than you guys.
Okay, so we go on the side of the street.
Rose, why don't you go on the side next to Ryan?
Kind of push over.
I couldn't.
That's what I was going to do.
We'll let him fall.
All right, I know, Legislator Bono, I know you were having palpitations. I'm done. It's dirty.
Okay. I way exceed that, so everybody look up here, please. Now we're going to look right here.
You step up.
And right behind me. That's all right. Right here. Thank you. Good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Stay safe out there. You understand me, okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless. Thank you so much.
Is that your grandpa? No, that's right. He's a character. I'm trying to figure out who he is. He took my wire and then my snack.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's yours?
Thank you very much.
Oh, come here for a second. He told me I had too many waters, and he took one. This is something you could cherish him. He's the best. We love him. Yeah. He's great. He took all the snacks and all
Our
the
next
water and yelled at me.
The next presentation will be by the SOA, Superior Officers Association. I'd like to invite up the president, Ricky Fassetti.
That's a tough one to follow. Good evening, everyone. I am Ricky Fassetti, President of the Nassau County Police Department Superior Officers Association. Presiding Officer Nicolello, legislators, once again, thank you for taking the time to honor our men and women of the police department. As policing gets harder and harder, this is a very nice symbol of appreciation. So thank you again. On April 26th, Sergeant Ben Sherline, Ryan Cirillo, and Detective Sergeant Thomas Kananowitz were all working together and assigned to the 5th Precinct and 5th Precinct Detective Unit. These three supervisors, by having some knowledge of possibly a person that carries a loaded gun, have been looking for this subject for quite a while. These supervisors, working together, came up with a strategic plan to cover the highly traveled roadways in hoping to locate the subject. Sergeant Sirline noticed the subject's vehicle, which had numerous VTL violations, and he notified the other supervisors who were close by. Sergeant Sirline then pulled the vehicle over to a safe location. The other supervisors immediately showed up. During this time, the subject started becoming irate, was continuously moving around, and was verbally combative to the supervisors. The subject was then placed in handcuffs and placed in the back of the police car. The subject's vehicle was impounded, and during this impound, the vehicle was searched for an inventory search, which at that time, a loaded firearm was recovered from the vehicle. This gun was determined to have been stolen from Alabama. These supervisors did an excellent job in coordinating their efforts while knowing they might be encountering an armed subject. Without fearing for their own safety and putting the residents of Nassau County first, they took a loaded handgun off the streets of this county. One of the most dangerous things police officers do are car stops. You never know who you're pulling over, if the person in that car is wanted, if the person is armed. Our officers put themselves in harm's way every day. We have officers every day getting injured in this job. Crime is on the rise in Nassau County, and New York City is falling apart. We are not immune to what is going on. So, Presiding Officer Nicolello and all the rest of the legislators that support us, I want to thank you again. And I want to congratulate Sergeant Ben Sherline, Ryan Cirillo, and Detective Sergeant Thomas Kananowitz for taking another gun off the streets of Nassau County. Thank you.
Again, thank you. We ask our supervisors every day to lead our very young department. 60% of our police department has less than 5 years on patrol. 60%, they're kids. And it's no better way to show somebody but to lead by example. That's what they do every day. Our supervisors think outside the box. They come up with new initiatives, staying within the guidelines that they have to deal with, which are harder and harder every day, and they're still taking guns off the street, and they're our leaders. So again, I thank you for that, and I congratulate all of them. Sergeant Sherline's going to speak.
Thank you, Commissioner. Representatives of the Nassau County Legislature, on behalf of myself, my fellow supervisors, and the members of the Nassau County Police Department, thank you for having us here today, for your recognition, and for presenting us with this award. It's truly an honor to be standing here before you, representing our department, and to showcase the work the police officers of the Nassau County Police Department do each day. A police department is nothing without the help of the community and its local officials. We sincerely thank you for having our backs and for supporting our efforts to keep our community safe. Thanks.
Legislator Giuffre.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. So, gentlemen, the stories that we don't read about are what you performed that night. That's a gun taken off the street, a combative suspect arrested. That's a shooting that never took place. So, to serve and to protect, you live that every day. We thank God for you. Keep up the great work.
All right, would you like to join us for a presentation? I did notice one thing, though. You know you get old when the police officers look like high school students. But now you have supervisors looking like college students. Great job, guys. Wonderful job. Yeah.
Where's Arnie? I'm here, Oh, okay, all right.
Now we got
I just wanna make sure. Okay.
Can't miss Arnie. baby.
What?
You might be better off staying
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know.
Exactly, that's what I said.
All right, guys, I need everybody to look right here for me. We're going to take nice big smiles. One more. Good, thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Congratulations, thank you all.
Thank you very
Wonderful
much.
job.
Really,
Fantastic job.
congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, to have the local law thing. Can we just go home now, Howard? Is that what you're saying? We can just go home now?
Okay, yeah. No, I know. All right, and we also are privileged to have a presentation today on behalf of the Detectives Association, Inc. I think, Mike, is it you? Mike Maloney is going to do the presentation, or? Jim Malone, okay.
I don't know. What house is one? Is it PSC? I forget. PSC&G? Do that?
That's an order. This many years, he deserves that.
That's why there's so many people.
As I said, once they get finished with one, most of that, they're out.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Good evening. On June 20th, 1969, a young man from Valley Stream, barely 21 years old, raised his right hand and was sworn into the Nassau County Police Department. This man now became Patrolman Gary T. Ferrucci, Shield number 2230. Upon completion of his training, Patrol Ferrucci was assigned to the 4th Precinct in Hewlett. In 1971, Gary was assigned to the Nassau County Highway Patrol Bureau and would spend the next 10 years patrolling the Long Island Expressway. This is where Patrolman Ferrucci began making a name for himself. During his tenure in Highway, Gary wrote tens of thousands of traffic tickets and made over 1,100 DWI arrests. Speeding motorists and drunk drivers feared Patrolman Ferrucci. They either slowed down, stopped drinking, or completely avoided the LIE. And this is if they were lucky enough to not have their car impounded by Gary. Now, I'm not sure if this is true, but there's a rumor that the revenue created from the tickets Gary issued had kept the Nassau County budget balanced during the 1970s. On December 16, 1979, Gary's life had changed when his close friend and partner, Police Officer Daniel Greer, was killed in the line of duty after being struck by a drunk driver. Gary's loyalty to his partner still remains, and to this day, he has kept in contact with Officer Greer's family. Present here this evening is Colleen Greer. You got me. Colleen has never met her grandfather, but thanks to Gary Ferrucci, she is able to hear stories about his life and his job as a Nassau County police officer. Because of Gary, Colleen can and will continue to keep Police Officer Daniel Greer's legacy alive. In January of 1981, Gary was assigned to the detective division and worked in the 3rd Squad for the next 10 years. From here on out, he was no longer Patrolman Ferrucci, Shield number 2230, but Detective Ferrucci, Shield number 165. In case you're wondering, this was not necessarily good news either for people driving in Nassau County, because when Gary wasn't investigating cases, he was out looking for speeding motorists and drunk drivers, continuing to write thousands of tickets. In 1991, after a decade of working in the 3rd Squad, Gary was assigned to the Homicide Squad, specifically
the Vehicular Crimes and Reconstruction Section, now known as VCARS. It was here where Gary would combine his experience from the 3rd Squad and his love for highway patrol. The VCARS section investigates serious auto accidents and vehicle-related deaths. While some of these death investigations are tragic accidents, many are criminal cases that involve driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol, amongst other crimes. Many times these investigations become high-profile and newsworthy cases also. Whether an investigation is criminal in nature or not, there is not one case that is more important than another. Each victim's family demands answers and deserves closure. This cannot happen without a thorough investigation. It takes a dedicated individual to work in this office, and for Gary, it was the perfect spot. From 1991 to present, Detective Ferrucci has been the lead investigator in more than 700 vehicle-related deaths, including 2 of our own Nassau County police officers who were killed in the line of duty. One of the duties of an investigator in the homicide squad is to make death notifications. Notifying someone about the death of their loved one can be a very difficult task. It makes a person's worst nightmare become a living reality. It was Gary who had the responsibility to notify a family member that one of their loved ones was killed while coming home from school or work. If a child went for a bike ride and was killed by a drunk driver, it was Gary who carried the burden of telling a parent that their son or daughter will never be coming home. Whether this was in the middle of the night or on Christmas morning, Gary has done this over 700 times, each time with dignity and compassion. Gary is an expert at what he does and takes great pride in his work. When Gary signs off duty and leaves the office, he's not actually going home. From locating and interviewing a witness to viewing surveillance video, he's following up on his cases. Gary does this almost every day and has never asked for any overtime or compensation. He does this because he cares about his victims and he cares about their families. Throughout Detective Ferrucci's career, he's been awarded countless meritorious duty and life-saving awards. He's also received 3 medals of commendation and a Purple Heart, which was awarded to him in 2003. In 2021, Gary was recognized for his service and designated a first-grade detective. This prestigious designation is solely based on merit. Nobody in the entire department deserved this more than him. Gary Ferrucci's public service does not stop with law enforcement. Since 1965, he's been an active member of the Valley Stream Fire Department. Gary's also been an EMT since 1972, and for the past 35 years, he's been a certified New York State EMS instructor, training thousands of EMTs for free on his own time. Gary's public service and unwavering commitment to both the police department and the residents of Nassau County will always be appreciated. On June 9th, Detective Ferrucci will be turning in his shield and retiring from the police department. Over the course of his 53-year career, Gary Ferrucci has worn many hats, including being a police officer, detective, firefighter, EMT, educator, husband, father, grandfather, and a friend. We thank Detective Ferrucci for his service and wish him the best on his retirement. And one last thing, this was archived in our photo section. This was a picture of Gary that was taken June of 1969.
So, my name is Colleen Greer-Zioba. I am Daniel Greer's granddaughter. Gary was my grandfather's partner. He was with him the day that he died, and I didn't know this. My family didn't know this for a long time. This year in December, I was looking at my grandfather's memorial page online, and I found a comment by Gary, and first something said call, and I just Googled Nassau County Police Department, and I said, hi, does anybody know who this is? And within an hour, he called me back and he told me all these stories about my grandfather, and it was just so amazing. And a couple days after Christmas, he came all the way to my house in Miller Place, and I remember saying to him, "Are you sure you want to come?" And he said, "Well, the car's got 4 wheels, it's fine." And he came and he met with my kids and my husband and myself, and he presented my grandfather's, citation. So I'm so happy to be here for him to get his, because I know my grandfather is here with him and looking down on him, and my family cannot be more thankful for what Gary did. He gave us closure, and he gave us peace that we never had for a long time. And just today, they passed it in the Senate of New York State that a bridge on Sunnyside Road over the LIU is going to be named after my grandfather, and that wouldn't happen without Gary.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This is a very tough thing for me to do. However, there are some names that I would like to name today that I remember every day. Being up on the Long Island Expressway, being a detective in the Nassau County Police Department, there are names that stick in your head forever. Matt Giglio. Matt was in the Holliston Fire Department Rescue Company with me. I brought him in. Matty was shot on Hempstead Turnpike after a young punk shot him in the chest, and Matty languished in Mercy Hospital for more than 2 months before he passed. I've had the chance to go to the family, to talk to them, and be there every time that there was some sort of a court presentation for the defendant to be released. Never happened. He's already, at this time, deceased because he hung himself in jail. Danny Greer, what more can I say about Danny Greer? The diesel chaser. We used to all have a name on the expressway about what we do, and Danny was just incredible. Funniest laugh that you would ever hear. That day, things didn't go well. We had just had breakfast at the Holiday Inn, and he went east and I went west. A few minutes later, there were people who were yelling, "We need help, we need help." Came back and found him. I found him in a ditch alongside the Long Island Expressway. Danny, even in death, was able to help solve his case because it was the first time ever in the United States where an ear impression was used to show that the vehicle left the scene. His ear impressed into the motorhood of the vehicle, and Danny was able to tell us what kind of car. About 3 days later, the defendant was found and simply enough charged. Mike Calavano, Highway Patrol Bureau. Mike was stopped at exit 33 and telling a young lady to get back into the car, because it's too dangerous here. At that time, a truck carrying 3 other vehicles drove up on top of Mike's car and trapped him in the vehicle. I got to the scene and I was told that Mike is deceased. He's not. I'm a medic for many, many years. I teach at the Nassau County EMS Academy. He was not dead. We transported him to NUMC, and there, at that time, he was pronounced dead. The reason I did that is because the people, the family, need to have some opportunity to say this was not just an auto accident. Artie Lopez, another gentleman that I met one night while he was towing a car for me at the emergency bureau, and he was just an excellent, excellent officer. A few days later, we were on the Cross Island Parkway, where he was shot by a person who just didn't know him. Nassau County Police and New York City Police were able to find him, the driver, the passenger, and bring him to justice. Jeff Breitkopf, Breitkopf, I'm sorry, in Massapequa Park, he was walking up to a scene and was struck and shot by another officer. It was simply enough, something that happened, but I was at the scene and we gave him every opportunity to live. That's what my job was. That's what it still is. It's hard for me to say goodbye. I'm not saying goodbye. What I'm saying is thank you to everyone who I've had the opportunity to work with, talk with, and give them some civility. Thank you tonight. Thank you all. Please be safe. And I appreciate the opportunity to be a Nassau County detective. Thank you.
Let's do the gala.
Right on up. Is it on now? Yeah, much better. So each month we gather to recognize Nassau's finest for the actions they've taken while serving the citizenry of Nassau County. The stories may be different, but one thing is always constant. That's the heroism and bravery exhibited by these incredible men and women. These incredible men and women who put their lives on the line each and every day. And in this instance, we're here recognizing and honoring first grade detective Gary Ferrucci, who lives not too far from where I live. And I can attest to the fact that it's absolutely true that Gary is never off duty. All right, on his way home back to Valley Stream, it's not uncommon for Gary to pull someone over in Lynbrook on Merrick Road or anywhere else in the county when he observes something that just doesn't seem right. Your career is one worth taking time and pausing to recognize. It spans more than 50 years. It's more than half the people up here aren't even 50 years old yet. You've served this county very well. 40 years as a detective, you've investigated the thousands of cases, as we've heard, involving all types of incidents, from homicides to traffic violations and everything in between. What's most significant is the list of achievements that is truly something to marvel at. 8 Excellent Police Duty Awards, 12 Meritorious Police Awards, 1 Life-Saving Award, 3 Medals of Commendation, 1 Purple Heart, and multiple Top Cop awards. Truly impressive. On top of that, somehow you found time to serve as a volunteer with the Valley Stream Fire Department for 57 years now. Impressive. An EMT technician since 1972. A trainer in the EMT field, training our young men and women how to be EMTs. These lines of work have earned you countless other awards as well. I'm touched to learn about your commitment to the family of your former partner and close friend, Daniel Greer, who lost his life in the line of duty. And Miss Greer standing next to you is truly blessed to have come to know you recently, come to be a friend, come to accept you as family, as well as the entire Nassau County Police Department as her family. And that's a true testament to your greatness, your heroism. And if you turn around and look at all the people that were here to be part of this presentation tonight, that's truly a sign of your greatness. There's nobody that really serves this long on active duty in the police department anymore, more than 50 years. That is quite an accomplishment. And so many young men and women who are in law enforcement will continue to look up to you for a long time. I know that. So it's truly a distinctive honor that we can be here today to recognize your lifetime of service to the Nassau County Police Department, to your hometown of Valley Stream, to the entire Nassau County family, and you've been a shining example to everyone in this county. So my sincere congratulations. We have a giant certificate or citation, certificate of accomplishment for you today. We truly want to say thank you for all that you've done. And we know that you're not going to end in retirement. You'll still be active in our community. So we say thank you for all those years of service. Thank you for the service still to come. God bless you. And God bless the entire Nassau County Police Department.
All right, I have two slips for public comments. First, David Stern. David.
Good evening. That's a hard act to follow, and I want to thank my fellow county employees, the police, for the great work that they do. My name is Dr. David Stern. I'm a full professor of the Physical Sciences Department of Nassau Community College and was elected as Classroom Vice President of the NCC Federation of Teachers. I want to thank legislators Nicolella, Ford, Rhodes, and Goffrey for taking time out of their busy schedules to tour our campus and learn firsthand about our dedicated faculty's proposed initiatives, to keep the college viable, including the need for additional operating funds to hire new replacement faculty and capital improvements, including a new performing arts building to be the cultural hub within the Mitchell Field Hub. I also want to extend another open invitation to any legislator that would like a tour. We would welcome such an opportunity. Since its opening in 1959 in the west wing of the building that you usually meet in, when it was called the Old County Courthouse, NCC has often been described as the jewel of Nassau County and New York State's community college system. We have been one of the prime economic engines for the county and a magnet for attracting residents. It is time to reinvest in the college so that faculty can offer continued quality academics, programs, and curriculum to prepare students of the 21st century. The college will now go into its 15th year without a funding increase for its operating budget from Nassau County. This, along with a decade-long cut in state funding, has led to the shrinking of full-time faculty, increases in tuition, and cuts in student services, along with the college's failure to develop and offer new programs and initiatives. Yet, our own Board of Trustees won't ask for an increase in our operating budget. Where other community college Board of Trustees regularly ask for and receive 1 to 2% increases for their operating budget, ours has not. This isn't sustainable. The College Board of Trustees will not ask for an increase unless they believe that you will approve it. It's a catch-22 situation that results in stagnation of the college, loss of enrollment, and missed opportunities to serve our community. Accordingly, we asked the legislature to send back the current proposed college budget and ask the Board of Trustees and the administration to work with the faculty and revise the budget to reflect an increase in the county's contribution, and to use that increase as an investment to initiatives identified in the college's academic master plan and also by its department chairs. It's past time for the county to increase its investment in the college. Nassau Community College students tend to stay in the county. They are rooted in the community. They form part of the needed workforce, become our accountants, our lawyers, our small business owners, even legislators. I know many of you are alumni. And yes, they stay on to become our valued neighbors and taxpayers. In sum, Nassau Community College students are our future. In asking the county to return the proposed zero budget and offer to raise the college's operating budget, we are in reality asking the county to invest in its residents, its businesses, and its future. The benefits are limitless. We trust that you share our belief that a great county deserves a great community college. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stern. Mita J. Meriday.
Good evening. It seems strange to say good evening, but I hope we have more evening meetings, just possibly not at this location. I did enjoy the field trip. I had been here when the facility first opened, so it was not difficult for me, but maybe for other constituents to be able to come and participate in this. It was definitely heartwarming just from the tributes to our hardworking law enforcement officers and the support staff. So I don't think it robbery, in a sense, to speak about a issue that's always been near and dear to us, our seniors, and as we sit here among the artifacts that salute and support our brave fighting men and women of wars in the past, I almost feel like I need to possibly talk to my friend Gary Louie to borrow maybe a tank and drive down with a sign on Hempstead Turnpike to portray another jewel, a missing opportunity for Nassau County, which is NUMC. So it is my hope that we can move forward in 2022 to look at what we can do to revamp, revitalize, and just reinvest in that all-important facility that seems to get tossed around again like an unfortunate hockey puck because of the opportunities that it can present to our long-suffering veterans, those who are living, and just looking at recent legislation as late as Wednesday that the Senate reached a deal to pass sweeping military toxic exposure legislation later this summer that paves the way for millions of veterans exposed to burn pit smoke and other battlefield toxins. Being a 9/11 first responder and having been exposed to many of those similar toxins as a civilian trying to basically encourage those who are helping to rebuild our city. Good, bad, or indifferent, it is still our city. We need to focus on what we can do here in Nassau County through NUMC to better serve our veterans and their families. There is great opportunity there. The location is apropos. There are many things that particularly this legislature can do almost immediately to upgrade our very hardworking, very committed Veteran Services organization. We can step it up to an agency which would increase its opportunity and access to state and federal funding. We could also look at developing projects, maybe setting up a research facility within NUMC that would bring in some of this funding for the toxic fumes, that would bring support to our Vietnam veterans. It would help us because we have a large constituent of war widows that live in Nassau County and Long Island. We could have a family support and resource center, similar to what they do upstate. It seems that we have a lot of resources in New York State that support our veterans in locations that have much smaller veteran populations. So I'm hoping that I don't have to reach out to my friend Gary to borrow that tank, but as many of you know, where there's a will for me, I could probably make a way. I think it would also be interesting for HBO to set up possibly doing a documentary about the revitalization of the Nassau County Medical Center, or NUMC, or whatever name someone decides to change it to. Because I think it would also boost not only the economy, and I'm really interested as to where that $12 million actually is going that we earned from the Gilded Age, because I'd like to see more of it distributed evenly within our diverse businesses, because I was very disappointed at the committee meeting that there weren't more questions with regard to the contracting that incorporates or should incorporate, when you're talking about federal funds, the state mandates and federal mandates for inclusion by service-disabled veterans, minority, and women businesses. Just to get an answer that, yes, we know that there are guidelines is not enough. Could someone give me the names of at least 3 service-disabled veterans that have contracts in Nassau County? Veterans hire the majority of other veterans. That, again, is an opportunity for us that we continue to miss out on. Minority and women businesses hire from their own community. Again, it's an opportunity that we continue to miss out on. So we need to focus on really addressing the need for diversity, inclusion, and equity in Nassau County. And I'm glad that I was able to make it out here. It was an interesting field trip. But let's just try to focus on having these meetings at locations that are more accessible for all residents of Nassau County. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mita. Mike, could you call the emergency, please?
Thank you, Presiding Officer. This would be an emergency resolution declaring an emergency for immediate action upon a resolution requesting the legislature of the state of New York to enact and the governor to approve an act to amend the retirement and Social Security law in relation to establishing an accidental disability retirement pension for deputy sheriffs employed by Nassau County.
Motion to establish an emergency by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Rhodes. Just real quickly on the emergency, this is truly an emergency. If this is going to be passed in this session of the state legislature, it is going to committees tomorrow in Albany, so it has to be done tonight. Any debate or discussion on the emergency? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed? Emergency passes unanimously. Now I'll call the items. 155, 2022. It's a resolution requesting the legislature of the state of New York to enact and the governor to approve an act to amend the retirement and Social Security law in relation to establishing an accidental disability retirement pension for deputy sheriffs employed by Nassau County. Moved by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Schaefer. Puts this before us. Just real briefly again, the Nassau County deputy sheriffs are classified as police officers pursuant to state law and attend same police academies and enter themselves or perform very dangerous work at times. The deputy sheriffs are currently entitled to an accidental disability retirement of 2/3 of their final average salary. This amount is less than what is available for police officers and paid firefighters who receive a 3/4 accidental disability retirement. If the bill is enacted this year, the annual contribution would increase for Nassau County by $10,000 for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2023. And as also with respect to past service, the cost will be $58,800. Any debate or discussion on this? Again, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That carries unanimously. Just before we move on, I want to thank Deputy County Executive Walsh, who's here tonight, made sure to get this done and to get it signed so that this can be taken up to Albany immediately. And also thanks to Bob Osceola for bringing this to our attention. All right, so now we will go into the consent calendar for the legislature. Items that went through committees. It's been agreed by the minority and majority that no further debate or discussion is needed on these items at this time. Item 5, Ordinance 28. 6, Ordinance 29. Item 7, Ordinance 30. Item 8, Ordinance 31. Item 9, Ordinance 32. Item 10, Ordinance 33. Item 12, Ordinance Resolution 89. Item 13, Resolution 90. Item 14, Resolution 91. Item 15, Resolution 92. Item 16, Resolution number 93. Item 18, Resolution 95. Motion by Minority Leader Abrahams, seconded by Deputy Presiding Officer Coppell. Any debated discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carries unanimously. Now we're going to a hearing on a proposed local law, which is item number 1. It's a local law to amend section 21-29.10 of the Nassau County Administrative Code with respect to catalytic converters. This item is moved by Legislator Rhodes, seconded by Legislator McKevitt. So this, it's before us. Again, this went through committees a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if the commissioner is still here. Yes. I would like to invite the commissioner up to speak about it a moment. I saw that, so I figured I'd call you up now.
I need to keep my sugar up. First of all, thank you always for the bills that come forward that we support. As you know, we're asking that the yards, that scrap yards, register, get the proper identification so that we can solve this. We're getting killed with catalytic converters. It takes all of 5 minutes underneath the car. They cut it out, and the 3 precious metals that are in it sell for about, at the end of the day, $2,100. They're stealing them, selling them for $200 to $300 to the scrapyard. By getting the scrapyards to register these items and who brought them to us helps us develop leads so that we can eventually close out these cases. They don't do one in the nighttime. They do 15, 20. And these poor people get up in the morning, they go to start their car, and it'll run, it'll start, but it'll sound funny and then start having problems. So, again, we thank you if you're supporting this, and we'd appreciate it going forward.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. From the statistics that I've been given, between 2019 and 2020, nationwide, the increase in catalytic converter thefts was over 325%. And we've also seen a substantial increase in these thefts in Nassau County. The cost to replace these, and not the cost that these thieves are getting from the scrap metal dealers or elsewhere at black markets, but the cost to replace them can be several $1,000s because, as you said, they damage the exhaust system. You have to find the catalytic converters on the market, and with the supply chain issues, it's sometimes difficult to do this. This is a major issue affecting our residents.
Absolutely. The 2 crimes that plague us the most right now are stolen cars and catalytic converters. The 2 number 1. Thankfully, our violence is not up. Our violence is down. And we've done a great job, as you just saw the heroes that were before us. But by doing this, it gives us a tool in the toolbox that we can actually go out and find somebody. If they keep scrapping this stuff and there's nobody behind it, we don't know who it is, we can't find it.
Okay. Anyone else? Any legislators? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any public comment on this item?
Rita J. Merida, as I said in committee, weeks ago. I definitely support this. I'm just, again, I just want to have clarity with regard to this overall registration process, who's monitoring that, and we all understand what the end game is, but at the end of the day, we still have to focus on the implementation process and making sure that we're not adding another responsibility directly to the police officers at the end of the day, who have to be responsible for tracking now all of these scrap yards. You know, again, where is the collaboration with regard to monitoring this situation so that we know everybody is, you know, above board? There has to be some kind of underlying process as opposed to just sending out a memo or press release and saying, okay, guess what, you have to register the situation. So that's where the clarity, at least for me and other residents who are aware of this, and also residents who have lost other parts of their car, and also, as the commissioner said, their car itself. So what are the overall components involved with trying to make sure that we are protecting the property of residents, and that we are ensuring that we're not adding another burden of responsibility? Because again, we're already dealing with, as Legislator Ford has said before, we have to deal with trying to make sure that we have officers patrolling, and as legislators know, many of us in our community are working towards getting crossing guards, because the whole traffic issue, and as we said earlier, having the moment of silence for the young ladies who died in New Hyde Park and living around the corner from the fatality in Baldwin, we have to do something about the cars themselves and people who are operating these cars, people who are doing things to these cars to protect the residents overall. So that, again, I support this. I just want to make sure that we don't continue to just push things out for a press release and a Newsday opportunity, and it's not really having the teeth in it that's going to make it significant. Thank you.
The enforcement end of this is going to be a shared responsibility with the Nassau County Police Department as well as the Department of Consumer Affairs. You know, the burden is going to be, to the extent there is a burden, it will be on the scrap metal dealers to maintain these records. We're not talking about a large universe of entities that will have to follow up. I would assume that Consumer Affairs will be enforcing on a periodic basis, but I would also assume, now as the Commissioner come back up, that the police will do it on a more targeted basis. So if there's been a rash of these incidents in a community, I would assume the police department will then, you know, actively pursue a specific geographic area or dealers in general. So, Mr. Commissioner?
Yes, sir. It actually reduces our resources, and thank you for the concern, but it's the investigators that work in those type of crimes that are special for that unit, vehicle theft squad, they go out and do that. So it cuts down on time, it saves us the resources, that we're not going out and taking the reports, and of course, it saves our residents if we solve it.
And I would think it would be more helpful because this specifically requires digital record keeping, et cetera. So you're not talking about scraps of paper that these dealers may have all over the place.
No, 100%, and it's photo ID and everything else that is required that's going to help us get leads to solve these cases, which will save more time. Thank you.
The only other thing I would add was our council has contacted Suffolk County, which is in the process of drafting a similar bill, and the City of New York has also contacted the City of New York, spoke to a councilman or councilwoman who they're considering something similar as well.
Yes, sure. By having our partners on both sides working together with us is going to make it even better.
Thank you.
Can I ask, Commissioner, is that okay?
Yeah.
Commissioner, can I ask you, might be like a ridiculous question, but is there anything you can do to lower your chances of your Cadillac converter being stolen? Or not really?
You know, we gave a lot of tips when it came to stolen cars, locking your cars, don't leave your fobs in the car. Now they have this new transmitter that works between the fob and the car if it's close to the window, so we're asking them to remove the key further into the house. As far as catalytic converters, no. You know, so well-lit areas is the best thing that we can do, and more patrols out there that we're out there. So if I'm not sitting there taking that report of 10 more reports, I can drive around and actually catch the guys doing it. All gals.
So this is going to sound silly. It's in the back of the car, right?
No, it's underneath in the back.
Underneath it in the back.
Yep.
So if you back your car in the driveway, you think that's better?
Yes, that's it. That's a good way to do it also. That's part of our tips that's online.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other legislators? Any other public comment? Hearing none, request a motion to close the hearing, moved by Legislator Reggie Whitten, seconded by Legislator Phillip. All in favor of closing the hearing signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing is closed. We go to item 3, a local law to amend section 21-29.10 of the Nassau County Administrative Code with respect to catalytic converters, moved by Legislator Kennedy, seconded by Legislator Schaefer. Any further debate or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, carries unanimously. So that's passed. Go back to the number 2, which is a hearing on a proposed local law to amend the county government law of Nassau County in relation to establishing a Nassau County Movie, Television, and Digital Commission. Need a motion to open the hearing, moved by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Boulay. All in favor of opening the hearing signify by saying aye. Aye. Hearing is open. I don't know if someone from the administration going to present this? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you coming up, Chris.
Good evening. Chris Lemoyne from the administration. Clerk item 148-2022 is a local law that amends the Nassau County Charter by establishing a Nassau County Movie, Television, and Digital Media Commission. The commission is being established to take advantage of the economic opportunities offered by the county's unique location and resources in connection with the movie, television, streaming, and other digital media productions. The commission will consist of 12 members, each appointed by the county executive. 7 will be directly appointed by the county executive. 3 will be appointed by the county executive upon recommendation of the presiding officer. 2 upon recommendation of the minority leader. And the county executive will designate 1 member as chairperson.
Okay, any questions from the legislators? A little bit of history. I was one of the sponsors of this legislation when we created it the first time back in 300 years ago. All right.
What would be their jobs? What would they do?
Go ahead.
Since we already had a commission, thank you, presiding officer, that a long time ago, what would basically be the responsibilities of the commission?
Well, the intent and the hope is for them to work with, the current members of the Parks Department that handle the permitting and the paperwork process with respect to productions, and to be sort of the focal point of contact to these industries in Nassau County to help, bring more productions here, more media business here to the county. That would be their...
We do have a movie department within the county. I mean, Deborah Markowitz used to be an employee of the county, and her main focus at that time, although it was just, we didn't have a great presence, but she worked in the county as the presence increased, and there was somebody who worked underneath, with her in that department. Who is that person now in the county?
It's my understanding there's a gentleman that works in the Parks Department that handles that. He handles the productions, getting productions here, the permitting process. This entity, this commission, this 12-member commission would act as a resource to the Parks Department to help them, I think we're doing a good job, but we feel that we can do better. So that's the point of this commission.
So there's only one employee in the county that would be the employee that would work with the movie industry.
As of right now, I believe there's one, yes.
All right, I'll follow up because I'd like to know who that person is.
Sure.
And what their responsibilities would be. And then what the commission then, because I know that they used to bring in people who worked in the movie industry to take a look at sites throughout Nassau County, for possible production and stuff like that. Will we still be doing that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think primarily this group will be promoting the film industry, and I think to the extent that you'll have people from the industry who are involved with this, I think it probably will be a lot more effective than a single county employee or two. So I think it should, in theory, help to encourage, and we're doing well with television, filming, with movies, et cetera, but I think it would do much to encourage that even further.
I agree, it would enhance, but, it's also good then to have somebody who works in the county.
Oh,
that can be
absolutely.
that point person.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other legislators want to weigh in? Okay, I think you're good, Chris. Any public
Thank you.
comment?
I didn't come all the way out here
least brought one chair, okay? Bad back here.
Next time.
Let's not be a next time. Let's not be a next time. I definitely, again, I support this legislation. I think it's important. I think it's timely. But once again, I am hoping, and I'm glad that I'm looking at the majority of the legislators here, and I believe Legislator Ferretti is virtual.
Yes, he is.
Okay. I kind of heard the roll call. But I'm hoping again that we have kind of a broader outreach and as well as a broader programming format. I watch a lot of, I don't watch a lot of regular TV because I'm coming from a media and marketing background, do not want to be on the commission, okay? But I think it's important that, again, we focus on the diversity of the effort as well as the diversity of the process. I think it's great that we want to bring out productions and have things done and filmed here. We have beautiful locations. We have a wealth of talent here. I hope Legislator Drucker can become an extra or at least a star in somebody's show. But I think we also need to look at that from a direct production aspect so that we can provide more opportunities for the creative talent, many of whom have been unemployed throughout the COVID process. And we're talking about digital and media and streaming. We need to focus on also, we have writers and editors. I think we have to also look at the production aspect. We have young talent coming out of our great colleges and universities that we need to provide some opportunities for them to actually want to stay, to do some work here. If you look at a number of the programs now that come from the Midwest, or there must be a media commission or a production team in the state of Georgia that kind of does this 24/7, because the number of shows that are both educational and some that are ridiculous, but just the wealth of talent and the breadth of the types of programming that comes out of those areas, I think we could be exceptional right here where we are to generate that same talent in addition to bringing in outside sources to produce their programs and shows here. I think I'm always focused on kind of a local talent, local resources, and I think would be a great opportunity to do those types of things. We have food tastings, we have a number of events, special events that are here on Long Island and in Nassau County specifically that we need to look at in terms of a broader range. And lastly, I'm curious, I just want to put it out there with regard to who is actually going to be recommended and recruited. I would like to hopefully see a commission that reflects the true diversity of Nassau County, not just focused on across party lines, budget lines, and contribution lines, but again, from what they can bring to the table, what they represent, whether it's young people, seniors, again, just to bring a wealth of talent that's reflective of who we are and what we want to portray, both locally and globally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mita, any other public comment? Need a motion to close the hearing by Legislator Walker, seconded by Legislator Salage. All in favor of closing the hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing is closed. Item number four is a vote on a local law to amend the Nassau County Government Law of Nassau County in relation to establishing a Nassau County Movie, Television, and Digital Media Commission. Moved by Legislator Giuffre, seconded by Legislator Ferretti. Any further debate or discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, carries unanimously. Last two items, items 11 and 17, Resolution 70 and 94. These are resolutions to confirm the county executive's appointment of John Ardito and Michael Perry to the Assessment Review Commission, moved by Legislator Deputy Presiding Officer Coppell, seconded by Legislator Ford. So those two appointments are before us. Are the Mr. Perry and Mr. Ardito here?
Yes.
Evening, and thank you for your patience for sticking around.
Absolutely. John Ardito, it's an honor to be before this legislative body. It's an honor to have received this appointment from our county executive, and it was an honor to witness the presentation recognizing our police officers and detectives. It makes one certainly proud to be a resident of Nassau County.
and if I'm confirmed to this commission, it would be my privilege to serve the residents in this capacity. I've served on the Garden City Zoning Board of Appeals for the last 12 years. I've had prior service on the Town of Hempstead Industrial Development Agency and the board of the Water Authority of Western Nassau County. I believe those experiences, my experience as a practicing attorney for over 30 years, will help me evaluate the issues that come before us on this commission, determining the valuations set by the Department of Assessment, and also evaluating and determining the grievances filed by our residents. So I hope this board would confirm my appointment, and I look forward to serving the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Barry?
Good evening. My name is Michael Perry. I am also honored to be advanced in the process by the county executive, and equally honored to be appearing and considered by this esteemed legislative body. I come with more than 6 years of government agency experience with the town of Hempstead, serving as a commissioner on the Civil Service Commission. Also 30 years of business person and business ownership experience in very complex areas of business, representing Silicon Valley companies in the technology space. So I bring an analytical ability, as well as serving on various boards, including in Town of Hempstead, the ability to collaborate with my peers. And that would be my objective, is to collaborate and bring another perspective to ARC and move forward in the mission supporting the community and the county and the commission. So I appreciate that consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do the legislators have any questions?
No, more of a statement.
Sure. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Gentlemen, how are you? As everyone here, I'm sure we're appreciative of you being able to give your time and service to the county as it remains to be to Assessment Review Commission. However, we have indicated in prior meetings to the county executive that we were looking forward to hearing more about the assessment plan and in terms of how he plans to go forward. We have heard many things about in terms of corrections and opportunity to make things better, but we haven't heard from an actual plan. So I wanted to let you know that we will be voting against your appointment tonight. It's not a reflective of you. As I said before, we're thankful for you stepping forward and being able to give this level of service. However, not knowing the county executive's plan and how it coincides with your experience, it makes it very difficult for us to be able to move forward with your appointment. But we look forward to working with you in the future, and from that standpoint, best of luck as well. Oh, and as Legislator Ritchie has mentioned, the ARC Commission has not met yet, so we look forward to having that first meeting as well.
Any other legislators? Okay. All in favor of the appointment signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, carries by a vote of 12 to 7. Congratulations to the two of you. Thank you.
Thank you
And good
for
luck.
serving.
Okay, that concludes our business. And again, before we break, I wanted to once again thank the staff, leadership here at the museum, Gary Louie, Mike Sapricone, and everyone here for all the work they did, as well as our staff, who spent a tremendous amount of time coordinating this and making sure that we could have a meeting with all of the resources that we have. So thank you again. Gary, thank you. And motion to adjourn by Legislator Rhodes, seconded by Legislator Walker. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Carries unanimously.